Well, right about now, a lot of us are talking about football. We're thinking about going to the cider mills. We're talking about a new flannel outfit we can wear. Kaylajoy from RC Heating and Cooling, she's thinking about maintenance plans. She's thinking about furnaces. She's thinking about humidifiers. Is that what you think about?
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. It's a great add
Yeah.
to your furnace if you have room and availability to put it on the side
Yeah.
of your furnace. It adds humidity into your air. So what a air conditioner does in the summer is it dehumidifies.
It takes the moisture out of the air.
Yeah, so you walk in, you're sticky, or the walls are kind of crying a little bit. You need to turn your air conditioner on. In the winter, however, here in Michigan, we need to add humidity back into our houses, and that's what a humidifier does. So
Right.
it goes into the ductwork. It does run water through the unit, picks it up, and air vaporizes it into our air.
Okay, now here is the question that I have. By the way, the phone number that you need to the phone number that you need to be able to talk to Kaylajoy and get down and dirty like we're about to do here is 586-991-5990, 586-991-5990. Here's the question that I've got. Because the humidifiers that I've seen, they're about the size of a lunchbox, right? At least the ones that I saw. Okay, and then they've got this little wheel that spins like you'd see a little gerbil or a hamster, and you would pour water into this thing. Don't look at me like I'm speaking.
What was this, 1980? What are you talking about?
Here's my point. The humidifier unit
Yeah.
itself is not that big, and I am challenged with the science that says it's going to take the humidity, the water droplets from the furnace, and then transport them magically through the entire house.
Well, you've got forced air coming through where the water is dripping, right? So you've got the air is blowing through it, the water's coming through it, not yours because that's weird. I don't know what you're concocting over there, but it is grabbing those water vapors.
Yeah.
And I mean, just like rain, right? You see a rain cloud come above you and it passes you and then it drops next to you.
Yeah.
It's the same scenario.
Okay. All
right.
But a shower has a much larger source of water than a little box that's attached to the side of a furnace.
Yeah, so there's a lot of houses. I have a friend. She has a small house in Clinton Township. Her furnace is literally in a closet in a hallway. There is a water heater and a furnace. It doesn't fit anywhere. She wanted a humidifier. I said, go put a pot of water on the stove and boil it.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Except for this is just like an electronic version, right?
Okay.
So when your furnace kicked on, it kicks on.
Okay.
Right? And you can set your different types of level. Some people, if you have a lot of wood in your house, you got wood molding, you have a real wood floor, chairs, all that, curio cabinets, you want a higher humidity so nothing cracks or breaks or separates.
Right.
Where I could have a low humidity. I've got laminate everywhere, right? So it's convenience on that portion of having an electronic version, but yeah, you can take a shower and open the door.
So when is a furnace considered old? Because I know that, at least from our previous conversations, it's actually rare that a furnace breaks down, which makes me wonder how long are furnaces designed to last?
Right now, I would tell you probably 13 to 18 years.
New ones.
Yeah.
That's not very long.
No.
How about furnaces that were installed 10 years ago?
They have a better chance of lasting a little bit longer. I would tell you probably 18 to 21 years.
So it sounds like if you've got a furnace that's 14 plus,
and it's still going and there's no issues and you maintenance it and you're changing your filter, keep it.
Okay.
Don't fix what's not broken.
There you go with that filter talk again.
I know. I'm a crazy person. I should just wear a filter.
You should you should sell filters.
I do.
Well, I mean, in another way, because
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because you are all about filters.
Well, what it does is it catches the particles of the air that's floating around, right? And it stops it from going into your air, making you sick. And it stops it from going into your motor and clogging it up.
As you said, it's how the house breathes.
Yes.
Right?
It is the lungs of your home.
It is the lungs of your home.
Mm-hmm. Home
Yes.
and health
There
show.
There you go. Look at you making the connections. You want to co-host? You can just take this over. That's fine. All right. Well, that's interesting. All right. So about 14 years or so. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And why are the new ones, since they're supposed to be so dadgum efficient, why are they only lasting 10 to
Shorter.
12 years?
There's just so much electronics in it. There's so many different moving parts in it. They break down a lot sooner. People don't maintain them properly.
Are they using more plastic in these furnaces now? Like they are, seems like they're using in everything nowadays that's crucial. They just make it out of plastic because
It's kind of like instead of copper, they're using aluminum.
Okay.
In that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot more moving parts now than 30 years ago. It used to just be a motor and a circuit board, right? That's all that we needed because we didn't know. It's not that we didn't know we needed it. All we wanted 30 years ago was to have some cool air, right?
Yeah.
Or we wanted some warm air.
Yeah.
Now people are wanting more out of their units. They want higher efficiency. They want UV, germ reducing. They need fancy thermostats, and we want fancy this, and we want to add this, and it's all about the accessories. And
Are you looking at my sheet? I've got a bunch of questions. I think you're cheating because that's one of my next question for you was, what are the best new features in furnaces?
Yep.
And which ones should we avoid?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so what you could add is a humidifier, programmable thermostat, and a UV light. Those are solid 3 on the lower end of price that would benefit your family and your home.
Okay.
The UV goes above the coil, and it breaks down any of those particles or those germs that have gotten through, and it sanitizes them. So the air that you do have coming out is, they say, 99.999%, right, UV sanitized.
Right.
So that's a good add.
Okay.
Humidifier, obviously, we're just talking about humidifiers. You add moisture into your air, stuff doesn't crack, your nose doesn't bleed,
Is it also true that if, and maybe this is more of a medical question, but if you've got lower humidity, it's harder for you if you're trying to fight off a cold or if you have a cold? Or is that just my perception?
For me specifically, I will tell you that I feel awful when there's no humidity in my air.
Okay.
I don't know statistics on that, but that is definitely something I'm going to Google on the break.
All right. Okay. So you've told us what to look for, but what should we avoid? What are the manufacturers slapping on there that, as someone who has to deal with these things on a daily basis, you say don't get a unit that has this and this and this?
I don't know, because it just depends on what you are wanting from your furnace. So if Miss Smith just wants a furnace that blows air and hot and cold, she doesn't need a variable speed 2-stage 97% efficient furnace, right? So it's all about what you want versus what you. I'm not really too.
Okay, let me ask the question this way then. At least with cars, it seems like they're throwing more and more options on there, whether or not people want them. And they're things that really look good on paper and are good for sales, but in the real world actually cause more problems. They break down sooner and make the car more complex. Is there a correlation when it comes to furnaces to that principle?
I would tell you here in Michigan, probably not on the furnace side of it, definitely on the air conditioner side of it. Here in Michigan, we don't use our air conditioners long enough to make the monetary side and the fanciness of the air conditioners of a 24-SEER, fancy, high-efficient, modulating this, that, make it make sense.
So in other words, we're not Arizona, so we don't need something that's going to be running 70% of the year.
Right. For furnaces right now, we're getting into the 97% efficiency and the 98% efficiencies, and they do that with fancy motors. Mm-hmm. Those motors are very expensive. So I personally, for myself, if you're not in your home every single day, if you're not utilizing your furnace appropriately for the efficiency and the motor that's in it, you have to maintenance these things. You can't let it go. You can't set this one and forget it.
So if you're in a situation where you've got a family, but when you look at how much time the family actually spends in your house, it's not that much. You don't have to worry about a high efficiency furnace?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
Personally, you're not going to see the benefit of it in the short term, especially and not on your energy bills right now.
Yeah.
I had a customer recently call me. We've serviced him one time in the last 2 years, and then a bunch of times at the very beginning, like 10 years ago. But he bought a house in Florida. So this is where I like this conversation, because I was helping him figure out what furnace and air conditioner to buy in Florida. You know, and then I brought in a vendor of mine, and we're trying to figure out what was best for him. Him out there, he needed 22 SEER for his location where he was with the sun.
In Florida.
In Florida, right?
But here in Michigan.
But here he got, a couple of years ago, he just got the basic 13 SEER, basic base model, and that's all he needed here. So it's all about how you're going to utilize it. There's a lot of accessories, there's a lot of stuff in these new ones, but if you're not going to utilize it, don't pay for it.
And if you're not sure what you actually need, I think you're getting the idea that Kayla is the person to talk to get the information and get the straight scoop on it. And that's why we're giving you an opportunity to talk to her when you call 586-991-5990, 586-991-5990, or go to rcheatcool.com. When you talk with Kayla, she will give you a straight answer, and she will let you know what she would do, and she'll also explain why she's making the recommendation that she does. So that's really what you're looking for when it comes to a business owner who can help you out in an area that we are really uncertain with. So we're going to continue this conversation, and I'll probably have some more crazy questions for Kayla right after this.